What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the Mind of the Marketer Live. And today we're going to be addressing, to me, a very important question. And that's, is the agency business model still viable? And even more importantly, if you start one and you build one, can you actually make money? I mean, you, the agency owner, the founder. And the reason why this is on my mind is because a good friend of mine, ex-business partner, name is Nick Eubanks, tweeted out yesterday or 2 days ago. Let me just share my screen so we can take a look at this together here. He tweeted out, he said, most car people I meet are in finance or real estate. Why aren't more marketers into cars? My initial response to this was, what's going on here? My initial response to this was, I can't tell if you're trolling or not, because most marketers don't nearly make enough money to have multiple cars and types of income streams, if you will, that will allow them to spend and splurge on cars. And it kind of got me thinking, because my response to that had, working as an agency owner, also having an agency training business called the Blueprint Training, where, every day I'm working with marketers and agency people. I think it's an important discussion to have. And I'm curious about your thoughts too, about this business model, about what this means, because my response here was referring to the majority of marketers, meaning in-house marketers. It's become a pretty steady job, right? When I first got started in this industry doing SEO, it was like entrepreneurs only. And there was a lot of money being made through affiliate marketing, through e-commerce, through building a list and selling programs. And it's really changed, especially SEO, to the point where it's almost, instead of becoming an entrepreneurial venture, which it still can be, it's become much more of almost like accounting or web development, where it's a line and expense sheet. It's no longer considered, an ROI driven investment in a lot of cases. I know might not be true all, but a lot of cases. So I want to have this discussion today. I want to go through and I want to talk about different business models, and I want to talk about what's actually viable in today's market, in terms of how much money you can actually make from this. But I think also more importantly too, what are the options for you if you want to make money online? Because I think today's internet is not what it used to be, and just in terms of overall opportunities. And I just think there's so much bullshit out there too, pardon my French. So I want to go through, before we talk about the actual agency business model, I want to go through, and I asked ChatGPT for a list of online business models, just to kind of have the conversation of what else is out there. And then I'm also going to talk about my experience running an agency, which I've been doing for the better part of 15 years now. And it's provided, for me anyways, it's provided an amazing, not only income level, right? Like I've made over 7 figures in personal income. I mean, personal income, not business income. I mean, money that I get taxed on, that's in my personal account, that comes from my agency driven businesses. And I want to talk about ways that you can achieve that too, because again, I just think there's so much bad information out there. So number one is going to be e-commerce. So again, this is mainly for people who, let's say you're working a job, you've got a core foundational skill set. Maybe you've done some consulting, you thought about starting an agency business or just any other business. Because for me, my story is, I graduated in 2009 from undergrad. I took a job with Deloitte Consulting, Big Four Consulting, a great job on the surface, right? It paid me 80 grand. And back then that was a lot of money right out of college. I was making really good money, but I hated it. I hated every second of it. I hated having to put on a shirt and tie every day. I hated having to sit in traffic. I hated being told what to do. And back then I was just looking for other ways to essentially support myself and make income. And I stumbled across SEO, and the rest was history. But that was 2010. It's 2025. That's 15 years ago. Things have changed quite a bit. And there's not nearly as much opportunity. Back then, if you learned SEO, you could pretty much do any of these things. You could do e-commerce, you could do affiliate, and it's just really not the case anymore. So again, if you want to start an online business, if you want to make your own money, if you want to get out of your job, stay tuned because we're going to talk about these things. And I'm going to give you my opinion based on having 15 years experience and basically having run every business model that's in here too. I can give you what I think is the best. So the first one on here is e-commerce, right? And ChatGPT gives us some pros and cons here, which are pretty spot on, to be honest with you. The pros of e-commerce, I think number one, it's sexy, right? Like a lot of kids these days, and even my wife has like forwarded me TikTok videos of dickheads that are like selling e-commerce courses. And I'm like, I've done e-commerce. If anyone's been watching me for a while, I have a case study from like 8 years ago about a shoelaces store that I started. It's still probably one of like my most cited YouTube videos when I meet people at conferences. And for me, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, because in your head, you think, oh, this is a passive business, right? Like they don't have to come into a store. I don't need a storefront. They're just buying online. But then you realize you have all of the challenges of a traditional store in terms of inventory management and logistics, which I'm telling you, like, don't underestimate that. Like housing, where you're going to put it, if you have to store it somewhere. There are companies that can store it for you, but they take a pretty good chunk out of that. They handle logistics. They're taking a percentage on an already small margin business. Customer service, to me, there's no amount of money that can make up for the fact that when somebody's buying a $7 product, they're still going to bitch and complain like it was a $7 million product. And then, of course, back then, SEO, it was easy. I was just ranking it for shoelaces and we were getting sales. But when I tried to scale it in terms of advertising, it didn't quite work because the product value was so low. And most e-commerce businesses are going to probably be like an average order value of less than $100, which is difficult to recoup ad costs on. And you have to be really focused on things like customer engagement, customer activations, lifetime value, sales, discounts. It's a lot of work on top of the fact that you've got to be an expert marketer now. So for me, e-commerce is not, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. And the margins on it were also really bad. A good e-commerce store is maybe making like 20% net profit. And like, to me, if I'm not making at least 50% net profit on a business, I ain't interested. Don't come my way. I'm not interested. This also lumped in like Amazon FBA, which is selling directly on Amazon, which to me is not quite e-commerce. It's Amazon e-commerce. It's a completely different ballgame. And there's all sorts of different issues with Amazon as well in terms of the amount that they take, the constant change in terms of services, the competition from China and overseas, which is now selling direct to consumer on there and just undercutting the crap out of your prices. I know you see a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok about it, and like these little kids driving Lamborghinis, but they're making their money selling you courses. They're not making their money selling stuff online. Trust me. Drop shipping. I'm a very large non-proponent of drop shipping businesses for a lot of reasons. One is just there's no money in it. I know a lot of people talk about it, and this is like a good entry level business, and all these things too. Like, I don't want to poo-poo on them, because at the end of the day, I encourage you to take your first step, even if it's the wrong first step, because what you're going to do is fail forward. I, throughout all these experience running these businesses myself, had failed forward and learned and grow to the point where I am now. So all of these things led me to where I am now. So if you're already doing it, don't be like, I got to get out of this, ride it till the wheels fall off and learn from it. So drop shipping, the pros against, if you were just compare this against e-commerce, you don't have to hold physical products, so you don't have as much costs, but there's also even less margin. And like, you have to be an expert marketer in order to make a drop shipping business work, because the margins are so thin. And when I say expert marketer, it's really organic marketer, because you're not going to be able to really make money if you're running paid traffic, unless it's like a totally viral offer that probably doesn't have a lot of staying power. You're also like, we're in the age of AI, which means brand is the most important thing, and you can't build a brand off somebody else's product. You have no control over the product. You have no control over customer service, long shipping times, all that stuff. To me, it's a good starter business, but it's not a good business to actually make money. Print on demand, selling t-shirts, stuff like that, same type of thing. This is basically drop shipping. Teespring was like a big thing back in the day. How many old school marketers out there remember Teespring? Dating myself here. If y'all remember Teespring, you're an OG like myself. You've been in this game for a while, and this had a nice little pop using Facebook ads. But after that, not a good business model. Subscription box businesses. You've got to have a product for it. You've got to have a really good product that also like is deemed for subscription. So like, something that people reorder all the time. And then you run into the issue of, well, am I just going to aggregate other brands and like curate boxes, which I have a friend who did it, and spoiler alert, it did not end well. She didn't make any money. Or you have to start your own business, right? Like your own coffee business, your own I don't know, subscription sock business or something. Otherwise, you're just aggregating people's products and you're taking a haircut on your margins as well. Again, like I'm taking you to the end state here of stuff that I've learned from all this stuff. Affiliate marketing, another one that I like to pick on a lot. Affiliate marketers, in my opinion, always live in their mom's basement and are the loudest marketers on the internet. They are the most offensive marketers on the internet, even more than SEO professionals who are already the most touchy people in the world. If you say something, they will threaten the life of your year-old son. Affiliate marketing. Back in the day, and I know, again, this is like probably the penultimate sexy business for people who want to get into it. And that's why like the allegiance is so strong, which is crazy to me. Like people take allegiance to something that like doesn't care about them back. But anyways, so affiliate marketing is a great way, again, to learn marketing, because you don't have to hold the product. You're basically just taking a cut of whatever you sell. But the issue of what's happening here is that, again, it's very, very thin margin on what you're doing, and you can't use paid traffic. You have to use organic traffic. That's why SEOs love this, because they're like, oh, it's a passive business model. It's like, no, you still have to pay the hard cost of SEO. And like people are just not using Google, and Google doesn't want to promote affiliate deals. Back in the day when email lists were big, this was good. If you had like influencer products, this could be good, but like affiliate marketing to me is just not worth, it says it here, requires significant traffic. Like there's really no way to get significant traffic anymore, free traffic, because even Google doesn't do that anymore. And anyone tells you differently, it's just trying to sell your product. Keep in mind, guys, if somebody's pushing this, ask them what they're selling. Ask them what their course is about. They're like, oh, I teach you how to do affiliate marketing. Show me your earnings from today's internet, not from 10 years ago when you had an email list that you were spamming people with. All right, online course and coaching. So, wow, it even, look at this. ChatGPT knows my business. So Blueprint Training obviously is one that I run. Amazing business. I love it. I love working with clients. I love coaching. I love helping out people like yourself who want to make money through the agency business model. Really good profit, really scalable. The downside is that the offer expires very quickly. We're constantly having to introduce new content, new trainings, new people, new offers. It's a constant innovation process, which can burn you out. And it's not as passive as you think. Like people are like, oh, I put together a video training and sell it. Like, yeah, you sell it for 2 months and then it dies. You have to do it again. And the effort to build that video training is enormous. So it's a great business model, but like I would say wait until you've established yourself as a little bit legitimate credibility authority here, because otherwise it's going to be tough to sell this stuff. SaaS. I have a SaaS business. I hate running it. I don't like it because it requires a tremendous amount of product work, right? You're constantly having to stay ahead of the curve. Again, people look at this like, oh, like monthly subscription, they pay you every month. You don't, it's passive income. Like this is the opposite of passive income. Like building a SaaS product and maintaining a SaaS product is the most time-consuming thing in the world. And if you're not obsessed with the product and the problem that you're solving, it's a really difficult business model to run. And it's also extremely expensive. But it does scale better than probably any business out there, because if you hit the right problem and you build the right product for it, you can, there's really no cap on what you can make from a SaaS business. They also sell very well. And again, the ability to build like a recurring revenue base is very, very, very powerful. And it's also very enticing. But I'm telling you, it's like building a house. It's 10 times more expensive than you think it is. And the ongoing maintenance. Damn, ChatGPT is like in my head today. ChatGPT, you're good. You know the stuff. And again, you also have to be very strong at marketing to do it. So freelancing and consulting, this would be like my go-to. This is what I always tell people all the time. If you just want to get started, my advice to you, learn a skill and start selling that skill as a freelancer or as a consultant or as like project-based work. It's the easiest way to make money. And it's also the best way, because once you build that foundation of skills, like if you're doing thumbnail design for YouTube, right? You're building a skill set that can then translate into other things, graphic design, website design, ad design, branding design, etc. Right? If you're doing like even like link building for SEO, which I still wouldn't recommend because it's kind of, to me, SEO is dead. But if you're doing link building for SEO, you start by the smallest way possible, selling links, doing outreach, building outreach lists for people, vetting outreach lists, building prospecting lists, just doing the smallest entry point possible, building your income, making money off that, and then continuously growing and expanding what you're doing. Then you go to full link building, then you go to full SEO, then you go to blah, 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 et cetera, right? So this is, I mean, I love this. This to me is what I always push people to do when they want to get started. I'm like, learn a skill, monetize that skill. It is by like, you will never go broke investing in yourself. Damn, can somebody write that, put that on a t-shirt? You will never go broke investing in yourself. Trust me. Membership sites, similar to Blueprint, right? This would be like a subset of the coaching. This is, to me, is where like the coaching and training model is gone. It's gotten off of like just video training or like high ticket coaching and moved into memberships. Great model again, but like you need to be an authority, and like you need to be constantly churning through new content, new ideas. You've really got to be a thought leader in your space, legitimate thought leader in your space, because your community is going to rely on that. Blogging and content monetization, completely dead. I'm sorry, guys. SEO is not what it was. Websites are not getting traffic anymore. Google doesn't want to send it to you. Don't get into this business. Blogging is dead. Content monetization is dead. Banner ads are dead, right? And you might be like, they're not dead. Like they're dead in the grand scheme of things. Trust me. Which affiliate marketing, I'll put this and affiliate marketing the same thing. Don't do it. Stay away from it. It's not a good use of your time. This is not a skill that I would tell you to learn. It's like how to blog. We're automating everything with AI and getting the same results. It's pretty crazy. YouTube channel video monetization. I see this a lot now. I see like faceless YouTube channels with like, again, these young kids, man, they know how to scam an audience. They know how to get in front of people and entice people with making money. But YouTube channel monetization, where they're basically like, I don't know, making faceless videos or like news clips and just a bunch of clickbait stuff that gets a lot of views. I've seen them for like lo-fi work music. I actually listen to it all the time, which is cool. So, you know, again, I'm a big believer in YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but making money off it is tough. I use YouTube to build an audience that I can then sell my services for. So let's see if the next one, podcasting, same thing. It's these two things would be just like audience building, right? Like this is like becoming an influencer, like building an audience through content and then monetizing the content with other things. Digital products, this is the same thing as coaching. Niche job boards and marketplaces, again, you have to have like a very big, powerful website or audience to do this. Not a bad business model, but takes a lot of time to build up that audience. Flipping websites or domains, guys, this stuff is dead. I know people like do it on Flip all the time, but like you're going to get lowballed. It's not easy to build a website to have enough traffic. And once you do, it's like you might as well keep it and monetize in other ways because you're not going to make as much money selling it. I don't even know, print and digital magazine publishing. I don't know, it's like a newsletter. Again, you've got to have like a really strong point of view. So again, the thing that I always recommend, and maybe you call me biased, but like this past year, look at my W-2, y'all. Like I made over $1 million in personal income through just having a skill set of marketing and customer acquisition. So like to me, the best thing that you can do is learn a skill. Again, like I said, you never go broke investing in yourself. Invest in yourself, build your skill set. You will continuously learn and grow over time, and you will continuously snowball and make more money over time. So if you're too focused on like SaaS or like what's also very interesting is everything on this list requires what? It requires marketing to make it work. All of the cons are like, you need significant traffic. You need a lot of eyeballs. Marketing and audience building take time, can take time to acquire users. Everything here requires marketing. So like, it's not a bad idea to become an expert marketer, is it? And the easiest and best way to do that is to pick a singular, simple offer that you can do to make money, to monetize that skill, and then continuously build that over time. And like, to answer the question, can you get rich from the agency business model? Absolutely, you can. I know plenty of people that are crushing it. But like, those are people that have also spent the time to refine their skills and become proud of the work that they do and really try to become the best person at what they do. So I've got a bunch of questions in here. I'm just going to go ahead and fire away. And if y'all, please keep asking me questions. So I'm just going to go through these. Philip, Blueprint member. First and foremost, Blueprint members, love you. Thank you for your support. I really do love you guys. Philip says, can you talk about pillar pages and why they're important and how to choose them? So, Philip, man, this type of stuff, like I said, we're automating all this stuff with AI. Like people in the SEO community do not like me because I go on SEO Twitter, Philip, and I see stuff like this and I call bullshit. Like, like this concept of like pillar and cluster and like that stuff is so far gone. Like Google is struggling so much to like, it lost the battle with AI. Like they're like, we can't stop the flood of AI. It's here, it's coming. All you have to focus on, Philip, is like literally just using AI to build out a massive keyword map, right? Everything that is a gap on your client's website, and then just blasting all that, not blasting it out, right? We don't just like inside of the Blueprint, we've got amazing training on how to use AI to go from taking 10 hours to write a piece of content to 1 hour to write a piece of content. So like, generally speaking, and again, I don't want to It's a good question, Philip. I didn't mean to come off as brash. But like a concept of a pillar page, right, is basically just saying create like content that is relevant to what you're selling. So inside of the Blueprint training, I don't talk about keyword research. I talk about problems and solutions for your audience, right? Like your audience has specific problems, right, that they need help solving. That is what your content should focus on. And then what you can do is you can group those into like clusters of content, right? So like, let's like my attorneys as an example, right? Personal injury, or, roofing and HVAC. Like those clients, those customers have specific problems that they're looking for that you can build content around. But like, man, honestly, like, and the reason why I'm so down on this stuff too, and like why we're using AI to write so much content is because Google doesn't rank this stuff anymore, man. Like even if you get ranked number one, you're not going to get nearly, like, you're going to get 10% of the traffic you were getting 5 years ago, because AI overviews are on top. And if that keyword has any value, there's going to be 4 ads on top. There's going to be maps packs on top. So the point I'm trying to make here, Philip, is like don't spend too much time on this. We're literally internal inside of our agency. We're like, how do we spend less time on content and link building? Because to this day, we're still spending too much time and effort on it when it doesn't drive business results. The type of content that drives business results are service pages. That's it. So focus on building up those service pages for whatever client you're working with, their product pages that are bottom funnel query searches. All of that other top funnel content, like this concept of like, it's so outdated, and it's coming from people that are grasping for straws to try and hold on to an industry that is crumbling in front of us. Like, I see it happening in my data all the time. And I'm one of the only people that's in the SEO community that's like, hey guys, like, it's okay that we talk about this stuff, that this is happening, because it's happening. Like, we have clients that are ranking first for keywords and getting no traffic from it, let alone no leads, right? So the point is, Philip, is that like, message me in the Blueprint Slack channel. I'll give you some more details on this and direct you for the training for what we're doing this stuff with. But like, my big messaging to SEOs inside the Blueprint is like, let's stop spending so much time on stuff that doesn't drive business results for our clients, right? So pillar pages and cluster pages is no longer information, in my opinion, that you need to spend too much time on. That's why I said that. So love you, Philip. Appreciate you. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Anthony said, you love to join the Blueprint, but it's unfeasible, $199 a month. Anthony, can you send a email to Elena@theblueprint.training? Tell her that you spoke to me, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Okay. Philip said, I have an HVAC client. How do I determine which services to focus on for them? They have a heating service, cooling service pages. Each are equally important. Do them all. Right? You should be doing all of the service pages at one time. They're all important at all times. And again, that's the beauty of AI, is that we can get the stuff done so much faster. We're getting we have a roofing client, Philip. And so like, there's like roof repair, there's like shingles, there's all these different service pages. We're getting all those done in month one. All that needs to be done in month one. They're all important. Just get them done. And that way we can move on to focus on other things like LSAs, Google ads, and Facebook ads are other services that are really, really important. Lamone said, I agree with the drop shipping. This might be a learning or testing sector for doing different SEO strategies and use successful strategies. Yep, I'm just not a huge drop shipping guy myself. Stacy, Blueprint member. What's up, Stacy? She said, this thing I struggle with is knowing what landscapers need for marketing, but most of our the intake and lead management is bad. How do I build a service that supports this? Great question, Stacy. So one is, for landscaping, I would do local SEO and LSAs. Those two things alone are going to drive a tremendous amount of business value and leads for those clients. And they're super easy to do, super easy to set up. I would do both of those, and I would like insist on doing it. What's cool about LSAs, you can go to Google and type in LSA calculator, and you can actually see how much a projected lead is from LSAs for a certain business type, right? So you can include that in your proposal and your projections to say, if we spend an extra $1,000 a month on LSAs, you're going to get an extra 20 phone calls a month, right? Which is great because it builds trust, it builds the results, which is ultimately what you're selling. It builds it quickly, which then allows you to focus on more long-term efforts like SEO. Now, to answer your other question about bad sales and intake, right? We work with lawyers. We go through the same thing all of the time. Attorneys oftentimes will point at marketing as marketing being bad, when in fact their sales and intake is really bad and dropping the ball. So we built process documents and questions for intake scripts, right? So like, if they don't have a good intake person, we'll work with them and train them as a part of our retainer. Two is that as a part of all of our agreements, we do a CRM review if they have one, or a CRM setup if they don't, and then a CRM training on top of that if they don't have it, right? Like, we have to be able to see how a lead is flowing through the business if we're going to really impact their top line acquisition. So that, and Stacy, this is a great question too. And this goes back to Philip, what I was talking about with you too, right? Like, I am so adamant that everyone in this industry focuses on what matters, which is customer acquisition, and not what SEO Twitter is telling you to waste your time on and waste brain space on. You are here, you exist to solve the problem of customer acquisition for your clients. And like, again, I'm not picking on you at all, Philip. I love you, brother. But like, this is just misinformation in the industry. We should be focused on saying, what's the fastest, most effective way to get our clients lead? It's profitably, or clients profitably. And how can we impact that? And how do we put together an offer and a service to do that? And Stacy's asking the right question, which is, okay, great. I can get phone calls with LSAs or local SEO, but they're not picking up the phone. And they're firing me after 2 months and they're blaming me for it. So how do I fix that? Well, we have to tack on some sort of sales coaching, consulting, CRM review, process management, so we can at least tell them ahead of time, like, this is a problem for you. And if you don't fix it, no marketing in the world is going to work. So we're at least getting ahead of that and having that conversation. Anthony, yes. Elena Demova. I have a client call that I have to jump onto. This was a great conversation, though. We're going to be doing these all the time. Make sure to tune in. Just check us out on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe so you can join in the next one, ask questions. Happy Friday. I love you all. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.